Hi and a very warm welcome to all of you in today's post-market analysis. This is the analysis of the 1st April 2022 session. And what a rally today. Brilliant rally. Let's see what the rally was like. It was worth more than about 280 points in Nifty, and it was way more impressive in Bank Nifty. We will talk about that when we analyze Bank Nifty. So let's start analyzing this. It wasn't as if this rally was not expected. I was expecting something big to happen, because since the last few days we were seeing that buyers and sellers were knocking it off equally. Especially in the last session, we could see that there was literally a tennis ball match. Price was in a consolidation mode, so it was getting up towards a breakout. You can see here that this is the daily time frame, and you can see the size of this candle of today. Huge green candle, a huge green candle. And you could see that candle or that rally was kind of being set up, in this entire area here. You could see how much price was consolidating. Nifty was consolidating within that zone from 17th of March onwards. You could see that Nifty was staying in a particular range and it was not breaking it. So I was expecting this to happen. The price action since the last few days, bulls were taking control. The reason being that the way the 17,000 level has acted as a support. We have marked the support here on the daily chart as well as on the 5-minute chart. Very strong bullish candle, this one, then a very strong bullish candle to follow it up with. Okay, let's take a look at the price action as of today. Okay, the day itself opened with a very strong bullish green candle. It was a very strong indication that the price was in a very bullish state. Why was it a very strong indication? Because you can see the open was right here, which was not very far from yesterday's close. So price had opened flat today, and the only thing that was of hindrance today was the CPR here. And I had seen that the first candle itself was closing right inside the CPR. Then you could see this sort of a pin bar or a doji kind of a thing. It wasn't exactly a pin bar, but it was red in color, and then it was followed up by this red candle. But then I saw that at around the 50% pullback or 50% level of the first candle, the price had pulled back, and from there it rallied straight up. You can see the rally after that. And the only thing that was worrying me was that CPR there today. But after the price broke out, I was very confident of the price reaching at least day high here. So the PDH, that is the previous day high. And you can see that after price reached the R1 pivot, it spent a lot of time there. It was going sideways. Here I was thinking that the price might come down to the CPR again, but then the OI analysis was not showing me that. There was a massive call wind up right up in the morning itself, and I could see that there was a huge put side build up today. So the OI on the put side was building up really fast, and normally I do the OI analysis post 1 hour. So that is after around 10 AM, 45 minutes to 1 hour. That was around this area. So you can see that this was 10:15 AM. So usually when I see a rally like this, I usually tend to see the OI analysis, do the OI analysis at around 45 minutes to 60 minutes. And I usually tend to take some advice from it. Not that I base my trading opinions on it. Obviously, I base my trading opinions on the chart itself. But the OI data was telling me that it was a strongly bullish day today in the morning itself. And so here from there, the price kept consolidating after 10:15. And it consolidated for a long while. You can see here up till about 1 o'clock, the price was really going nowhere. It was right within that trading zone. And so here usually what happens is these are the areas where you should be very careful, because here are the areas where the price is either accumulating or it is distributing. So such days are very easy to trade actually. You just have to go level to level. I'll explain the levels to you here first before we go ahead. So you can see that this was a strong green candle. What does it suggest? That the PDL, the previous day low, is a very strong demand zone. and you can also see that the S1 pivot is right below it. So you could see that this entire zone was a very strong demand zone. So one thing was for sure, that if at all price had reversed back to this area after hitting the CPR, it would take support right at the same area again, and then that would have been another opportunity also. Had price given us any indication of a green candle right here, then that would have been also a good opportunity to go long on that. And then what you could have done was, you could have gone long at this level, and then exactly at the central pivot or the top central pivot here or here, you could have taken your profits. But then price never really reacted in that same fashion. What happens here is, the price usually gives a nice bounce from the around the S1 pivot right up to the CPR. Then the CPR pushes the price right down to the base of the or the low of the first candle. So then price after that is again pushed upwards if you see any particular green candle at the low of the first green candle, which is the current day's low, and that low is a strong support because the buyers have pushed the price up from there. So anyway, that is something that has not happened today, but you could see that it took resistance here at the CPR. Then even if you had traded for a breakout of the CPR today right here with this candle, that was also good, because then what would have happened is, you could have gone long here and you could have kept your SL here, and you could have taken your profit at the previous day high. That was also a good trade to take. And then the price, you could see, as you could see here, price consolidated for a long time, and it was exactly at the R1 level. So it was between the PDH and the R1 level. So can you see here how zones are formed? The previous day low and the S1 act as a strong demand zone. Then the next resistance is right at the CPR, which if the price breaks, and as it broke it today, the next resistance comes in at the zone here between the PDH and the R1. So that is how price goes level to level, and that is how you can very easily read price on such days. And then you could see that price broke out of the previous day high at this level. At this time, you could see the candle here was the 1:30 p.m. candle, which was a very strong candle. And then obviously, I mean, you could see the consolidation here again. So this was a build up to this candle, and then it was a huge green candle, and then you can see how massively strong these candles are. And then price goes and hits the supply zone from the 3rd of February 2022 that we had marked. It has not broken that supply zone yet. It is still at the upper border of that supply zone. So if you can see here, this is the upper border. That border has not been broken today. So such price action is very easy to read. You can see here how price goes up at a particular level, then it spends a little bit of time there, then it again shoots up with a lot of strength, then it goes into another consolidation phase for a long time, then it shoots up, then it enters another consolidation phase, and then there is a massive rally again after that. So that is how price goes. It's a very classical example of a trending day. These are all accumulation zones. So what is happening here is, big money is accumulating here, big players are accumulating their orders here, and a lot of hands are exchanged by money in these areas. So what happens is, they need a lot of sellers in these areas. Why do they need a lot of sellers in these areas? Because they want to buy here, right? So they want to create sell orders here, so that whenever you find that there are a lot of sellers, you will find that they can fill their orders. They are buyers, right? So if they want to buy, they need sellers. You need an opposite party. So that is why the accumulation zones are formed, and that is how time spends before it blasts through that zone. Right, so that was the price action analysis of Nifty. Depending on this today's price action, let's go ahead and mark some levels for tomorrow. See, whenever price rallies like that, which is a very rare rally in indices, but whenever it rallies like that, you can see that the next day's CPR is a very wide CPR. and price has left a gap below. It has not gone on and filled that gap today. It has broken the CPR of today. So we see here that price took some resistance within this area. So we can see here that this is one area where price had taken resistance initially, and you can see that you can mark a zone around this area where you can see price spent a lot of time taking resistance in that area. It could not break it for a long time, so that zone becomes an important zone there. And why was price taking that resistance there? It was because of the previous day's supply zone there, because you can see how price had fallen the previous day. So at the same exact area price spent some time, and now the supply zone is broken. Now price has not come to this area again. Whenever it touches that area again, it might act as a strong support. And we have one area here where price spent some time. It could not break it immediately, so sellers were strong in that area. So we will mark that area there. That area lies within the CPR, but we will still mark it nonetheless. And rest of the areas will stay the same. We will have to adjust this particular supply zone slightly. So what we will do is we will delete this area here, and we will add a resistance up top, and then we will add a box around it, or we can add another ray also like this. So why are we doing that? It is because price has not been able to break that zone after this rally. You could see that the day ended with a red candle, right? So we will keep that area ready as a strong resistance. So depending on today's price action, these will be the levels for Nifty, the important levels for the 4th of April 2022. That is the next trading session. Okay, heading over to Bank Nifty now. And what an impressive rally Bank Nifty had. I really enjoyed the way Bank Nifty has rallied today. Let's see what a rally it was. It was nearly 1,000 points. It was exactly more than 960 points. And a beautiful rally in Bank Nifty today. Obviously the setup was shown yesterday itself, and we had a much narrower CPR in Bank Nifty than we had in Nifty. So you can see here that in Bank Nifty also the day opened here with a strong green candle, and we had this particular demand zone marked already. The price has opened exactly within that area. You can see a cluster of lines there. See, this is the previous day low support. Okay, this is the S1 pivot, and then we already had this particular box marked, which was the demand zone. So price took support exactly at that area. It actually opened within that area. The very first candle broke right out of the CPR. Obviously the CPR in such cases is not very strong, and it actually indicates that it would be a trending day. And a trending day, guys, a few of you have asked me that trending day is not a day which just keeps going on like this. Okay, a trending day could be that the price goes up like this, then here at this point it kind of faces some resistance right at this point, and then right at that moment itself it kind of goes into a reversal where it goes back and hits the base of the day, and then again right at that moment it takes a support at the day's low, and then again at that area it kind of bounces up, and it again goes and explodes out of the previous resistance. So this can also be called a trending day. Alright, so it's not as if a trending day means a day which goes from one direction and ends in the other direction. Trend in the market could be seen in any direction, and it could be seen in both directions also. So something like this previous day in Bank Nifty, just for an example, is not a trending day. This is quite majorly a sideways day where you could see that price was trading right within this zone for the majority of the day. So that is a day which is a sideways day, but this kind of a day is an absolute trending day. Okay, and now let's see what we have here. Bank Nifty had broken out of the CPR with the very first candle. Bank Nifty took a little bit of resistance. The only reason to that was Nifty taking resistance at the CPR. Otherwise, Bank Nifty had this resistance marked on top of it. You could see that the very second candle reached that resistance here, and then this small red candle was formed. But you have to remember, guys, that candles are important at the correct location. Not just any candles are important anywhere. Okay, that's not just the important thing there. Candles have their own importance at the important locations only. It spent a little bit of time. Why I say it spent a little bit of time was because these are very small candles. So you could see that sometimes candle strength is so strong that one green candle is also enough to blast that zone. It is such a small area there, but it took some time there for price to go through that zone. So after hitting that resistance here, you could see 1 here, then you could see 2 here, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and the 8th candle actually broke out of that zone. So you can see that within this particular zone, it took Bank Nifty about 8 candles, that is 40 minutes, to break out of that zone. So that is why I said that it spent time there. That doesn't mean that it was not a rally. It was definitely a rally. You can see here higher highs, higher lows continuously. So that indicates that there is a lot of buying strength, non-stop green candles. Once the price broke out of this area, that was the PDH and the S1, I knew that a strong resistance was blown. So whenever a strong resistance is taken out by a very strong candle, it is a very, very bullish sign. And that is the reason why I had taken a long position at 10:18 a.m. that I had taken the long position. You can see here that this was the candle that I had taken the long position in. Why had I taken the long position in this candle? I'll just shift this up a little bit so you can see. I usually am a fan of a 50% retracement, right? So I usually take a trade at a 50% pullback towards the breakout candle, but this was a breakout I wanted to trade. But then I could see that whenever there is a strong rally like this and then a very strong candle breaks out of the important resistances, I know for a fact that whenever such a candle is followed up by a very strong green candle, I usually know that price has gone away from me already. So if there is a pullback, usually you will see a pullback in the very next candle. So the very next candle will be a green candle. It will pull back to this particular area here. So there will be a candle, small candle like this here, and there will be a pullback to the 50% of the green candle. But then I saw that the very next candle to that breakout candle was a strong green candle itself, and so I was not very sure that there would be a pullback there. So what I did was I initiated the trade at 10:18 a.m. and you can see here that risk reward actually was 1:2. I'll show you why it's showing 1:1.7 here, but here my stop loss was around 102 points. Shorting price was around 440. The target was actually the R3 pivot. So you can see here now that the risk reward has changed. So the risk reward has gone to 1:2 now, and you can see here that my target was double that of my SL. So my SL was around 102 points and my target was around 208 points. So the risk reward is around 1:2. But what had actually happened was, let me take you back a little bit here. Yeah, you can see here now, this was the 23rd of March. And I'll just show you this area here. From the high to the low, Bank Nifty had fallen more than 750 points on this day. So I did not really want to take a chance after Bank Nifty hit that zone, because see, you cannot play God in the market. You cannot really be sure from where the market will take resistance and it will fall. You know that my risk reward is always 1:2. I never take trades less than 1:2. But then I shrunk my profit a little bit. It was about 1:1.7, which was still good enough. I had already captured 80 points in options, right? So you can see that I shorted the option at 440, covered it at 360. I'd already done 80 points. If you can see on the spot, then that is 174 points as against the 102 points. But then my SL would also have been smaller. So as against about 50 points of SL, I had already had a reward of around 80 points, so which was good enough in this trade. I did not want to lose at all, seeing that price had crashed so much from the same level initially. About the SL, I wanted to keep a safe SL here because the previous day high would act as a strong support whenever price has broken out of it with such a strong candle. So I knew that the PDH plus this candle's low would act as a strong support. So I knew that my SL would be safe, and that is why my SL is placed there. You can see how I booked my profit. I don't care how further the market went, okay, and I don't care that the option lost another 100 rupees of premium after I booked my profit there. I don't care that I did not wait for this particular candle to break through, and I didn't wait for this candle to break the R3 also. See, I don't know that, okay, and I don't care about that. All I care about is my risk reward, and I think I've done a good risk reward today. 80 points against 50 points of a risk is good enough. It's not exactly as per my rule, because I would normally collect 100 points, but okay, I'm not doing a 1:1, I'm doing a 1:1.7. So that's still good enough for me. You can see here that I had initiated the trade at 10:18 AM and it was closed at 12:24 PM. So you can see the kind of patience that it takes, and you can see how you must handle all this volatility. So you can see if I initiated the trade somewhere here, the candle went up, the price then took resistance. I saw this red candle happen. Then I knew that the R2 pivot was there, but I didn't keep thinking, okay, now the R2 pivot is there, this price might fall from there. Okay, once into the trade, that is not my risk reward. So I will not go ahead and jump out of the trade after I see these candles here. So normally what people would do is whenever they see such candles breaking out or breaking down from the R2 pivot, they would think that now the price is going to reverse and it is going to go and hit their SL, or their profits are going to go down. So they would normally book their profits right away at somewhere around this area, and they would run away from the trade, leaving a lot of profit on the table. But no, once I am in the trade, the price goes up, it comes down, then it goes up again, then it kind of consolidates for a long time in this area, and then with these strong candles it goes up. So in this area I don't suffer from fear, and in this area I don't suffer from greed, that okay, I have already scored so much, so now it's a strong green candle. Now I see that these are very strong green candles. Now the price is going to break through this and is going to rally, so I'm not going to take my profits, I'm going to sit there. So here traders suffer from greed, and here traders suffer from fear. And those who don't book their SLs, so for instance, if price had actually reversed from here and come here, then you've already seen me take SLs multiple times. Even day before yesterday I posted the video in which I took 2 SLs in the same day. And then here if they don't take their SL and the price starts crashing further and you are in a big loss, then here is where hope starts kicking in, that okay, the price will now hit the CPR and it will bounce again, and then it does not and it keeps falling further, and here is where you book the trade in extreme fear, and then such traders never come to the stock market back again, because they've already blown up their account in that one trade. And so that is the reason why you should never have a crash landing. You should always go in with a lot of protection, with a lot of mental strength, and in areas where you see volatility, you should not give up on your patience. You should have conviction. Okay, I'm sure that if price reverses, I have no control over it. So if the price is going to go down, it is going to go down, but then I know that fine, I have my SL here. So I know that I can actually afford to lose that much money to make this much money. I hope you understood the psychology behind the trade and how you should be thinking. Okay, frankly speaking, I was pretty much of the opinion that this gap today would be filled once it was broken through by these strong green candles, and it has majorly been filled, but a small gap remains. I think it's only because the day ended. Had there been longer market hours, I'm sure that the gap would have been filled. So I won't be surprised if we see a gap up opening on Monday. I would not be very surprised if the price opens gap up within this area, and price might sustain or it might come down, but this particular gap should be filled is what I think. We will extend the gap that is remaining. We have this gap below also, which we will extend. Okay, we have this area here which we would mark. See, price took a long time to break this zone, right? So we will mark this zone here like this, and we will ensure that whenever price comes to that area, we will be watchful. price has not returned to that area again, so we will just be careful during the next trading sessions at those levels. Okay, we have all other levels marked. We have that area within the CPR, so it's fine. We will not mark the virgin CPR. We already see the first candle go through it, and we will just extend these levels forward. These are the virgin CPRs coming from prior price action from the 23rd of March and the 30th of March. Alright, I think this is it for the important levels in Nifty and Bank Nifty. I will be posting these levels on Twitter, so please go ahead and capture these levels from there. I hope you like this video, guys, and if you have liked it, hit the like button and subscribe to this channel and hit the bell icon so you're notified each time I post a new video. Leave your comments in the comment section below if you have any questions, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.